everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So when you're watching a movie and you're seeing, the main titles and stuff like that, sometimes you see things that makes you either go, yeah, this is gonna be fun, or you see something that makes you go, we have this to look forward, doesn't we? So when I saw that they had a whole section of the title sequence dedicated to the people who contributed to make the monsters, I said, oh, so we have monsters in this movie. Fun, I guess. Let's find out why these monsters are here in Atlantis and what this movie is about, shall we? This is my review of Warlords of Atlantis. It's the late 19th century or very early 20th century, and we have this expedition who is going to try to solve the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. At least I think that is what they aspire to do. And so we have this rough and ready crew, and we have two stuck up scientists, and they have this diving bell thing that they're gonna go down and they're gonna explore the wonders of the deep sea world and stuff like that. And they go down there and they see a lot of weird and fantastic things down there. And they also are able to send up an artifact, a golden pillar of some kind, which makes the crew very, very happy. It's gonna be solid gold. It's gonna be, worth a fortune, they said. I don't think that it's gonna be worth a fortune, considering that solid gold weighs a whole lot of tons. So that thing should be too heavy for your boat. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, because there is a mutiny on the boat and they start do infighting things. They don't know what's going on up on top down in the diving bell, because they're being sucked down through a vortex thingy into the world of Atlantis, where they're also modified with gills, so they can breathe underwater and stuff like that. And they are not only welcomed down here in the 7 cities of Atlantis, they are basically being told that, well, this is your new home now, and you're gonna defend Atlantis against these huge stegosaurus like monsters that we have here who's trying to attack the cities of Atlantis. Fun, we're going to be thrown into battle, they said. And here's also where the monsters show up. They're not very impressive, but that's not the movie's biggest problem, but we'll get to that in a second. So they're immediately thrusted into the eternal conflict between the monsters and the Atlanteans. But Charlie, one of the scientists, is being taken elsewhere, because he has apparently a very interesting mind. And will he join the big council of the Atlanteans? What are their plans, and will they be able to escape this place? Will the monsters finally breach the walls and conquer Atlantis? And what are they really doing? Are they going to be, brainwashed by, the Atlanteans? And by the way, it should also be mentioned that the crew is also down here because they were pulled down by this giant squid thingy. And maybe actually they should stay down here in Atlantis, because there are hot chicks and stuff like that down here. So what's gonna happen here? So there's a lot of things going on in this movie, and most of these questions will be answered before this movie's runtime runs out. One thing they have done in this movie, they have tried to cram too much stuff into a too short of a runtime. And as I said, the effect does not look very impressive. It is difficult with these creature features, especially those who are, a bit older, because they can sometimes look very, very hokey, and the effects can look very fake, and this is no exception. I've seen worse, but this is still nothing to write home about. The weird thing, looking back at it, King Kong from 1933 still, I think, has better creatures in it than this movie has. So it is a fantasy movie with some adventure things with some, you know, cannons, and we have monster fights, and we have all these wacky nonsense that is going on. And we also have this surreal LSD-infused fever dream with the, you know, helmet of crystals and all that nonsense, and the Atlanteans' backstory, and you know, sequences that happens there, and then you're going like, what the hell is this? Where is this thing going? It's basically a tale of two movies that tries to coexist but fails to do so. The characters are very shallow, and the movie feels dated even for, you know, late 70s. It doesn't feel like late 70s. It feels more like the 50s or early 60s, especially when it comes to the barrage of cliches we have, and the maybe ever so slightly dated morality that this movie is kind of marinated in, but I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into that thing. So it is not a very interesting movie, it's not very entertaining, and the action sequences are not very impressive, and it's not an interesting adventure we're, you know, left with. I think that there are interesting bits here with, you know, with the Atlanteans and, you know, the comings and goings of the councils and the more trippy, surreal aspects, but they are glossed over, and they more focus on stuff that was not as interesting as the rest of it was. And in the end, I was not too bothered what was going to happen to any of these characters. I was like, I'm okay that we just, you know, end this thing right here, right now. And the movie's over, and this is a movie that you will never watch again, but it's not without its merits, but there is also a lot of stuff you have to get through to get to the at least decent or passable bits. Warlords of Atlantis is a slightly dated fantasy adventure that is not very interesting, with shallow characters and an uninteresting plot, but it's not without its perks. I give this movie 24 points. If we could have had, you know, some more interesting characters, or if we could have had better actors, maybe it could have been better, but in this case just a little bit of I don't really care about this. So I'll see you next time for, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.